I'm Kathleen Hart, and welcome to my show. I'm so glad you could join me tonight. I wanted to talk to you a little bit tonight about what's going on locally. 'Tis the season to be spooky. With that in mind, the TV shows are full of horror movies, as are the movies and the streaming services. Lots of paranormal investigation shows. If this sounds like something fun you want to do, let me tell you a cautionary tale. Don't mess around with things you don't know enough about. If the only thing you know about ghost hunting you learned on television, you are already in way over your head. You can get into some pretty nasty stuff that you have no clue how to deal with. Leave it to the professionals. There are plenty of things out there that are underrated or not advertised properly. In particular, I'm talking about Ouija boards. They're marketed as games, children's toys, party games for young adults. They really aren't. If you don't know how to protect yourself and prepare and close up afterwards, you are inviting in things you really don't want to deal with. It maybe seems fun at first, but if you get into it, you can invite in things that you don't know how to get rid of that can cause you a lot of trouble, a lot of grief, potentially can be dangerous. My advice to you, just don't go there. Don't mess with it. If you need to speak to someone you love in the spirit world, contact a professional medium. Don't go try and host your own seance with a bunch of people who've never done it before or think they know what they're doing, but they're not professionals. They don't know how to prepare the room, the space. They don't know how to set up protections, how to properly open and close. If you want something like that, which can be a lot of fun, it can be very comforting and very healing, contact a professional medium. I can't stress this enough. If you do something like one of these, if you happen to bring something home or invite something in you find later you don't want around, contact your local paranormal society or your local metaphysical shop. Ask for recommendations for someone who can help you, who knows what they're doing. My cautionary tale is when I was first starting out, I did not know enough. I knew I could pick up on things, I could sense things, but I really wanted to see what I could do. I went on a tour of a real haunted location. I'm not talking about your local spook house. I'm talking about an abandoned building known to be haunted. The group in charge I thought was reputable. Turns out they were a bunch of thrill seekers looking for a way to get on television. They did not prepare people they took in there. They just charged them money and had them sign a waiver. That should have been my first clue. Needless to say, there was a lot going on. It was interesting. I also learned very quickly that I was in over my head at the time, and that was not a fun thing to do. I did prepare myself fairly well, but I didn't know quite enough about it. I was very lucky. Nothing followed me home, but it would have been very quick and easy for that to have happened. And I did get some advice afterward on what to do, which I'm very glad I did, but I would not recommend that kind of thing to anyone else. It's just too dangerous. All right, I will get on with our caller. Dave, do we have a caller tonight? Katie?
Yep, that's me.
Hi there. Do you have a question for me
Hello.
tonight?
Um, I'm not sure of a specific question.
Something you need guidance on? Something you're curious
Yeah,
about?
um, I've been dealing with the loss of my son at 36 weeks this year.
Oh, I'm
and
so
I've been
sorry.
really struggling with that and just kind of feeling really lost and not quite sure how to keep, keep moving forward.
Hmm. Well, a little, a little bit of something I can tell you about that is when souls pass, when they cross over so young, they tend to be old souls, experienced, and they come here for a very brief time to learn a quick lesson, to teach lessons, and to fulfill soul contracts to help you grow and learn. And they go right straight back to the other side, straight back to heaven. And I don't care what anybody says. If somebody says if they weren't baptized, that they don't go back there, I do not believe that personally. I have heard from too many souls on the other side that passed very young. That's where they go. That's where they all go. So don't fret over that. Uh, you can talk to this child anytime you feel the need. They can hear you. They're there watching over you. And there are a number, there are a lot of good mediums that can bring through those young souls to give messages to you. I have personal experience with this, and I find it is very comforting. They typically do not want you to grieve for them. They were here for a short time by choice, and usually to help teach a lesson of some sort. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Oh, that's mainly my issue, I guess, right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, take comfort in knowing you can talk to the soul. You can get messages from the soul. Not every medium I've met brings through the younger ones. Some aren't prepared for that. They find it too distressing, which I understand. It's something that they block out because it does make them so uncomfortable. Spirit doesn't want us to be afraid. They don't want us to suffer. They don't want us to be afraid to try and communicate and not be receptive. So sometimes it takes a while. If you feel like you do want to try and get in touch with the soul, give yourself time to grieve because grief can block the information you get and the information you are willing to hear, to receive. So when somebody is reading for you, if they can come through with the best messages ever, but if you're not ready to hear it, it's not as effective. You may not accept that it's possible. Just give yourself time to grieve and know that it's okay. It's okay to hear from them. It's okay to accept what they tell you. If they offer you comfort, if they ask you not to grieve, if they if they give you messages like it's not your fault, be open to those. Meditate on
Okay.
them. Just think about how else it affects you and what it is they're really trying to tell you or to teach you. And then let it settle in. See how it feels. Because messages like that should be healing. They should free you from worries and fears. And I would just throw this out. If you get someone who reads for you who is telling you messages you find distressing or scary or threatening in any way, you probably want to go see somebody else because that's not someone I personally would trust. If they play the fear card on you, that's what I call it. That for me is a tell that that's not a good reader for you. I won't express my other opinions on that. I'll just let that go. Um,
Okay.
Is there anything in particular you're concerned about that's bothering you? Something you feel like may be holding you back?
Myself. Just myself, and yeah, I don't know how to explain it.
Now for you is a time of healing. Look for the synergies, the synchronicities, things that happen that appear to be for no reason, but if they bring you into contact with somebody who you feel comfortable with, maybe somebody you've never thought about before, you've never talked to before, but it just, the meetup seems almost like it was designed to happen. Let it happen. Take advantage of those situations because there could be a message in that for you. Definitely focus on self-care and give yourself time to grieve. It takes as long as it takes. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you should be over that by now. No. You do what feels right for you. You take as long as you need, and definitely reach out when you feel you need help of any kind. If you just need to talk to a friend, go do that. Don't isolate yourself because that doesn't help anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Just focus on being your authentic self and look for the good things in life that cheer you up, that bring you joy, and pursue those. If you're living in fear, you're living in the past, you need to let go of that. And in moving forward, move towards your joy. What makes your heart sing? Look for those things. It will help a great deal. And don't let anybody else drag you down. You don't need that right now. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, don't be afraid to explore new things because just go where your heart leads you. You never know what you'll find next, but it's going to be great. Things will get better. Pray.
Thank you so much.
Eat healthy. Rest up. Take care of yourself. Wishing you all the best. Take care.